Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I have the biggest crypto YouTuber on the planet, guy from Coin Bureau. Man, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, it's awesome. I've started crypto thanks to you. Starting out like 2-3 years ago, learning what crypto was, I was just watching guys' educational content, and so I really owe a lot of what I know to you. So it's a pleasure to have you on, man.
It's a pleasure to be on, Efe. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. So I felt that, I think a lot of people watch your channel, your videos, but I don't think people know how you got into crypto and who is actually Guy from Coin Bureau. So I thought that, we could do this nice little interview and maybe you can give some tips and tricks for people just starting out in crypto. So okay. Guy, who is Guy from Coin Bureau?
Who is Guy from Coin Bureau, the man behind the mystery? Okay. Well, I guess first of all, how I started out. Basically, a few years ago, I was teaching writing for a living. So I used to not kind of so creative stuff, but more sort of corporate writing. How to write a good press release, all this sort of stuff.
It's nice that you moved on because ChatGPT.
Basically, yeah. I'd like to say I saw that coming and decided to switch careers. That's very true, yeah. So, yeah, before I was doing one of the things that ChatGPT has now made obsolete. But yeah, and then in kind of 2013, I discovered crypto. I was living in East London at the time, very cool part of town. And I went to the pub one evening, and it was this big pub in Hackney. And there was a sign there saying, "We accept Bitcoin."
Wow, back in 2013.
2013.
Damn, okay.
So 2013 was kind of obviously fairly early days. It was around the sort of time that all the Mt. Gox stuff was happening.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
So it was a bit of a dicey time for the industry. It was really exciting, but at the time it was all sort of like, is this going to last?
How much was Bitcoin, by the way, back then? Do you remember?
Oh, I think when I first bought in, it was hovering around the $700 mark.
Wow.
So
okay.
I wasn't as early as I would have liked.
Yes.
I'm not one of these people who got into it when it was like below $1.
I interviewed Da Vinci and he got in at 67 cents, which is super impressive, but still $700.
67 cents.
It's crazy.
If only. So 2013. So I heard about it in this pub, and I mean, I don't think it was the first time that I'd heard the word. It wasn't the first time that Bitcoin had kind of crossed my radar.
Are you Satoshi?
I wish I was. If I was, I wouldn't say it.
Okay, well, there you go.
If I was, I'd just sit there sort of waiting to move the million or so Bitcoin sitting in my wallet. I think it wasn't the first time that I'd heard of Bitcoin, but it was the first time that it kind of registered. So I just went back and started reading about it, started Googling all this sort of stuff. And I remember, and this was kind of one of the things that inspired me, because obviously I kind of saw a little bit of a crossover here. I was teaching writing, I'm a real advocate for good writing, even in the age of ChatGPT.
Completely opposite. I have to write like 5 essays for school, for English GCSE, and man, it's a pain.
Well, yeah, I remember that well. I mean, that was one of the few things that I was good at school. But I still say this. I still kind of bang this drum. Like even in the age of ChatGPT, even when there are so many tools that exist to kind of help us with writing, like good writing is still very, very hard to find. So, and I still, I still kind of enforce that here at Coin Bureau. I try to. So yeah, but anyhow, I saw a kind of perhaps crossover potential. I was interested in Bitcoin. There was material out there about it. There wasn't an awful lot, certainly not as much as there is now. And a lot of it was either not very informative or not very well written, or basically there was a kind of what I felt was a sort of lack of good material, good informational, educational material about Bitcoin. So I started writing about it just, for my own amusement, really. And then, so a friend of mine had teamed up with some other guys to actually start Coin Bureau. I joined them and started writing content for them. Back then it was just a website. A bit later on, we transitioned across to become a channel. And that was kind of my idea, because we were looking, we were looking for ways to, to expand, to do our content differently. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it kind of fell to me to be the presenter, because no one else wanted to do it. So yeah, so I started off, and I mean, by this point, this is sort of 2018, 2019, something like that.
Wow. Okay. So 6 year difference. Okay,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, and just all that time, between that time, just kind of learning about it, reading about it, writing about it, all that mm-hmm. sort of stuff. So yeah, 2019, I think, if I remember rightly, is when the channel started, mm-hmm. and here we are in 2023. Obviously, a lot has happened since then.
See, like it's crazy. I mean, do you remember when you first got your? So I'm currently we're just above 7,500 subscribers, mm-hmm. and I started like 3 months ago, like actually
3 months?
Yes.
That's insane.
Thanks, man. But
3 months. I think we might have had about 100 subscribers after 3 months.
That's awesome.
Do you know what though? Because when we started,
mm-hmm.
I very much concerned myself with the writing of the,
mm-hmm.
writing the material and then filming it.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky in that I had a couple of really clever colleagues mm-hmm. who focused more on, uploading, SEO, mm-hmm. All the kind of technical stuff that you need to do to get seen on
mm-hmm.
YouTube. So I was very fortunate in that, because I was able to sort of not worry
mm-hmm.
too much about that. So yeah, for the first few months, I didn't really kind of concentrate on subscriber numbers at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'd occasionally look, or someone would text me and say, "Hey, we got to 100," or "We got to 1,000." But it wasn't until we sort of, I guess, past the 100,000 mark
mm-hmm.
that it started to kind of register with me at all, and be like,
mm-hmm.
okay, this seems to be going somewhere. And do you know what the weirdest thing was? So I think the moment that I realized it was starting to get sort of bigger than perhaps I'd imagined, mm-hmm. was when a fan started setting Disney tunes and rewriting the lyrics to be about Coin Bureau.
Oh, no way, that's
and
awesome.
Sending them to us. The Singing Crypto Fairy, I think she was called. It was
so cute.
It was so bizarre, but just wonderfully brilliant at the same time. And that moment, I was sort of like, okay,
damn, I'm someone.
Yeah, it's I've obviously registered on someone's radar to an extent. So yeah, and then fast forward, here we are.
So what were you like? Were you doing something for a living when you were like just starting out with the content as well, or was this your full-time thing?
No, I didn't go full-time with it straight
okay.
away. So
mm-hmm.
like, yeah, my colleagues and I would kind of work on it in amongst other jobs. So I was still teaching writing for quite a long time.
Maybe you could tutor me for English.
Yeah, do a nice little sideline in English tuition. Yeah. Well, do you know what? Okay, do you want my top writing tips?
Sure. Okay.
I mean, this video is kind of going a little off. People are switching off now. It's like, I came for crypto and they're talking about writing. I'll give you one top writing tip. Okay. Keep your sentences short.
Wow. Okay.
Short sentences.
All right.
People hate long sentences.
There you have it.
And they don't read on. There you are. Should we talk about crypto?
Yes, but I mean, from this, I take that, of course, you first found crypto in 2013, and for 5-6 years, you didn't give up. And even after a couple of months, you were getting, low views. You kept the persistence. And this is the trend that I see with most people who are successful. Like personally, I'm still very small, right? I'm still super small, but I'm, no matter how many viewers I have, subscribers I have, I still keep going because it's a journey. And if you put good, valuable content out there, people will watch it. And I think that's a very important lesson from this conversation that I've learned. So, but yeah, so is there anything else that you would like to add about crypto and your journey?
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess in terms of what you're doing now, where you are, you're very much at the beginning of this journey.
Yes.
I mean, you're growing a lot faster than we ever did. So, this is basically this is me handing over the mantle to you. But yeah, I think it's important. Like at this stage, you're enjoying what you do.
Yes.
You're enjoying the process. You're enjoying kind of learning about how it all works, and so not just crypto, obviously, but how the business of being a crypto YouTuber works, how YouTube works. How, I guess, making content in general, how that all goes. So, I guess enjoy this part of the process and kind of keep open to sort of learning new things about it, because you can only really learn by doing
making mistakes.
Yeah, and making
100%.
mistakes, and sort of try stuff out. You might be tempted to do a video on something a bit different or something that you haven't covered before, and like I think a lot of people kind of talk themselves out of things like that. It's like, oh well, maybe we should cover this, even though we're more well known for covering this. Maybe we should just have a go. And yeah, it's like don't be afraid to make mistakes in that way, because if people don't like it,
You just move on.
yeah, and you've learned something from it. Like we've tried different sort of types of video before, or particular topics, and sometimes it flies and sometimes it doesn't. But like everyone, anyone who's kind of started anything in any way successful has kind of had missteps and mistakes along the way. And making mistakes isn't criminal. No, it's not a bad thing to do. The bad thing to do is not learning from mistakes. You make a mistake once, that's fine. You make it twice, that's a problem.
The reason why like most people don't succeed is because when they make the mistakes, they get scared and they don't continue.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a very big point. But well, that's Guy from Coin Bureau, ladies and gentlemen. So if you didn't know who he was, there you have it. He's an awesome man. Make sure to watch his channel. So thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully tomorrow. So take care, guys, and bye-bye.
Keep watching, like and subscribe. He's the future.
Thank you.